It's now 5 o'clock. I will call the meeting of the WISD Board of Trustees to order. Just let the record show we have 6 trustees in attendance tonight. This meeting has been duly called and the notice of the meeting has been duly posted for time and manner required by law. First item on our agenda, we will go into closed session according to section 551.001 et sec of the Texas Government Code. It is now 5 p.m. 6:15. We're going to reconvene back into open session. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Aubenshine to lead us in our invocation, followed by Mr. Rogers with our pledges.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will everyone please bow your heads and pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us the opportunity to come together and work and make decisions to benefit your children. Lord, we ask that you be with all of us, that you be with our leaders in Washington, D.C., that you be with our leaders as they begin to convene in Austin, and that you be with us and guide us, Lord. We just ask you to reign over us and give us your guidance, give us your direction, and give us the strength to do the things you'd have us do, to have a fantastic spring semester for your kids here in Waxahachie, Lord. Just bless us, guide us, and use us for your purpose. We pray this in your name, your Son, Jesus Christ, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Okay, next item is our open forum. Ms. Bridges, we don't have anyone signed up to speak tonight? Okay. Next item will be our human resources. Ms. James?
Okay. Good evening, Board. I would like to ask that you approve the hiring of 4 teachers and the custodial night shift supervisor who is in attendance tonight, DeJuan Jones.
Can you stand up so we can? Ruthie will be so grateful to have help.
She would. I ask that you approve these as discussed in the personnel report presented by the superintendent in closed session. I also ask the board to approve the addition to the salary structure as an advanced placement stipend, to add an advanced placement stipend. And I also ask the board to approve the contract abandonment of the certified educator.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion for items A, B, and C under human resources as presented by Mrs. James.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Kriegel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Schoolfield. Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much. Mrs. Bridges, I believe we do have a few recognitions tonight.
I will first ask Lieutenant Albert to come up and do his recognition.
And I will ask Security Officer Trey Marsh to please come to the front. On November 17th, 2020, Officer Marsh was performing his duties as courier for the security department when he stopped at Marvin Elementary. While at the campus, he was made aware of a student having an allergic reaction that was quickly becoming life-threatening for the child. Officer Marsh quickly began working to coordinate with the emergency response from school staff as well as first responders. The campus principal said Officer Marsh not only jumped into action without being asked, he knew the protocol better than I did. I truly appreciate him being on campus and acting so professionally. Today, in recognition for outstanding performance while in the performance of his duties, Officer Edward Trey Marsh is given the Commendation Award for his actions that day.
Next, I'd like to ask Mr. Brad Andrews to come up.
Good evening. Thank you. Tonight, I'm excited to recognize as an outstanding employee at Coleman Junior High, Mrs. Robin Woodley. I'd like to ask her to come up here, if she would, please. Some time ago, Mrs. Woodley came to me with an idea that she had about starting a new initiative on our campus. And I have to say that ever since the implementation of this initiative, or her idea that she brought to me, has had an amazing impact on our campus. Such a positive impact on the culture and climate of our school and what it does for all of our students. I want to share just a couple things that this idea that she came up with, what it has done for us, what the objectives are. We call this our SPEAR committee. And SPEAR is an acronym for self-control, perseverance, excellence, accountability, and respect. And this committee that Mrs. Woodley has really spearheaded, putting this in place, no pun intended, it promotes these kind of behaviors, this kind of character with all of our students. The objectives of the committee is that it's an alternative at times to discipline consequences. It has a lot of those of you that are familiar with it, has a lot of the restorative discipline concepts. It puts those to practice. It focuses on key components for our students to learn that's required for being a successful citizen and to be successful in life. And it improves the teacher and the student relationships. And I've seen so many of our students that have been a part of this committee and the growth in just 1 year that they've had and the experience with the things that Mrs. Woodley and her committee have done. And now we've even expanded it further for addressing behaviors through restorative circles. So we've incorporated our counselors as well. So tonight, it's an honor to recognize Mrs. Robin Woodley and her work for Coleman Junior High.
Next, I'd like to invite Ms. Emily Camarena, Dunaway Principal.
Thank you. Hey, friends. Well, I am going to honor today Miss Shanna Thomas, and she is one of our kindergarten teachers. And I just want to start off by saying all kindergarten teachers are going to heaven. And this lady has a direct path, okay? And she's our difference maker of the month, and I would definitely like to share with you why. She came to us this year, so this is her first year in Waxahachie ISD, and it has been such a great hire. I just want to pat myself on the back. It has been great. So we say, hey, do you want to teach kindergarten? And she was all in for kindergarten. At least that's what you told me. No. And so we said, hey, do you want to teach virtual kindergarten? And so she started the first 6 weeks with virtual kindergarten. And she did an amazing job. We would pass by her classroom, and she's like in the little screen doing these dances with these kids. And it was just such a joy to watch, right? So then we said, let's throw another challenge at her. The second 6 weeks, we brought her face-to-face, and she had a second first day of school with some of those virtual kids are now coming to school the second 6 weeks. And a lot of them didn't go to pre-K. So their first day of school, their first day in a building, their first day with a teacher in a classroom with the chairs in the cafeteria and all the things, and she handled it with grace. And then her first day of school, the third 6 weeks, we bring all the virtual kids back. So now these kids, we're now in the third 6 weeks, have not been to school, have not seen a classroom. And so that poses a lot of challenges. And some people would say to me like, oh, you're crazy, I'm not gonna do this. But she said, come on, let's do it. And just a positive attitude, the grace, the grit, the problem solving. It has come with challenges because these are 5-year-olds, 3 first days of school. I could not do that. I was a secondary teacher all the way, and I just, like I said, they're all going to heaven, these kindergarten teachers. But just to see her in action and to see the way she handles those challenges is just amazing. She has done such a phenomenal job with those kids. They are in great hands, and future Dunaway students who will have Ms. Thomas, because you're never leaving. You're locked in, girl. They are going to be in great hands with Ms. Thomas, and I just want to recognize her as the difference maker of the month for Dunaway.
And board, finally, I'd like to invite Dr. David Averett up. Dr. Binskin was not able to be here this evening.
Thank you. So I don't know if you're familiar with the concept, the 212 concept, but there's a book about it. At 212 degrees, water boils. You can do anything. Water, you can make steam. So at 211, water's hot. At 212 degrees, water boils. The person that got the 212 award from Challenge Academy and High School of Choice is Miss Tammy Willoughby. Dr. Binskin states that she will go the extra degree to ensure that students at High School of Choice excel and succeed. That one extra degree makes the difference. It separates the good from the great, and Miss Willoughby can turn up the heat. I can say, every time I go over there, I know she's in there working hard, got her sleeves rolled up, working with kids, some of the kids that need all that assistance to get them across that finish line, to get them across the stage. She is always doing that, and I appreciate your work, and thank you.
Board, I did just want to say one final thing. The last group that we would like to recognize this evening is you. As you know, January is School Board Recognition Month. Waxahachie ISD is blessed to have a group of outstanding and dedicated trustees helping us navigate to success. Most people have no idea the amount of time and energy our trustees invest in the students and staff of Waxahachie ISD, both for our current students and, as we know, for the students of the future. So thank you very much for all you do. As a token of our thanks, we've purchased a book in your honor for each of our elementary school campuses, libraries. And so no, I'm sorry, you can't take this home for bedtime reading. I do need those back. And in addition, you can see a number of our campuses have created signs. I think every campus created something for you. And of course, our culinary arts students made dinner tonight. So it was wonderful. So thank you all very much.
Can cook.
Yes, he can. Thank you, board.
Thank you, board.
Okay, next item will be reports. It'll be House Bill 3, Early Childhood Literacy and Math Goals. Dr. Holt.
Yes, sir. Dr. Holder, she's making her way up. Actually, we sent you the report earlier, and there were a couple of, we check our numbers and check our numbers and check our numbers. And so, and this is actually the first time we've actually used this format. So you've got kind of an updated one. Some of the numbers are changed. They've been indicated. But
And I
again,
think I've been told that there may be others that were not applied to this, so we'll go back and review again as well. I already have staff looking at it.
but, so if you have any questions about now, if you'd like a full presentation of the 88 pages, I know Dr. Holt is prepared to do that, or we will just answer any questions you may have. By the way, it is comprehensive, and I know House Bill 3 is, this is, by the way, board, remember when John Spees was here and he said the early childhood and math goals? This is actually what he was talking about, that we had to present to the board these goals. And if, after tonight, if you've not had time to look at this, we always stand ready. If you say, could we go, now that I've looked at this, could we have Dr. Holt back and answer some questions? Or you can call Dr. Holt. Or Ms. Elise, or anyone, depending on what area it is.
And I think the one thing I want to say, even if there are no questions, is that, remember, this is a live goal setting, and through all the processes that we're going through now with COVID, with new platforms that we're using for testing, with No Star last year, we made those attainable goals rather small until we can get to the growth for this year, but it's live as far as the goals, and we can reset and adjust those as we can see how we need to move forward in literacy and in math, in case there's questions there.
That was my only question. Everywhere it was 2%, 2%, 2%, and that's why, what you just said?
Well, with the overall outcome goal of being 60%, and if we were at 60% and could match that, that would give us to an A district if we could do that across the board. So we started off with that. Once we have the growth, which is just now being tabulated with MAP, we'll be able to see if we can be more aggressive with those goals and can do the same thing, each semester based on middle of year and end of the year MAP growth, and STAR results coming next year or end of this year.
Any other questions for Dr. Holt?
I just have a comment, or maybe it's a question. Dr. Holt, could you just give a nutshell? A lot of times I think about like our audience that's watching, like either the live stream or maybe they'll go back and look at it later. Can you just give a nutshell version of what this is about? In other words, what does House Bill 3 require regarding that?
Absolutely. So with House...
Dr. Holt, just 1 second.
Okay.
I know there's several here that were for recognition tonight. If you guys want to get up and leave, you're not going to disturb anyone. So if you want to, you're more than welcome to. I don't know if you want to hear what we're fixing to hear, but you're more than welcome. Sorry about that.
I'm not sure how to take that, but...
They're leaving in droves.
Thank you all for coming.
No pressure.
Thank you. Thank all of you. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate y'all.
All right, go ahead, Dr. Holt. Sorry about that.
Okay, House Bill 3 actually came out and mandated across the state that every district set outcome goals for grade 3 for STAR in literacy and in math. In doing that, they also had every district at the district level and at the campus level set not just the outcome goal for passing of the STAR third grade, but also for progress measures, pre-K, K, first, and second, because that will help you get to that. And so that's what we're doing, is we're doing a mandated outcome goal, and then we set it at the district, then we set it at campuses, did those, got those numbers out there that we thought that we could gain, at least with the data that we had. You have to use or try to triangulate your data. So we're using Circle in pre-K, and we're using MAP, which is the Northwest assessment or evaluation assessment. So we're using that, which is new to us this year, and we measure that. We take it at the beginning of the year, and then we have a middle and an end of year outcome. And then from there, we continue to reset and reevaluate those goals and increase those. I believe part of the drive was the state also saw a need for the training of teachers, and this comes right along the same pathway coming out of the state of the science reading academies, which is required for the next 3 years for literacy. And so I think all of this is embedded together to get us across the state higher literacy and math scores. But it's a mandated piece.
I did have one question, and I don't know how it could be presented, but our different sub-pops, a lot of, I mean, when you look at your economically disadvantaged, a lot of the kids count twice. Is there any way that we could figure out, you know, which sub-pops are more disadvantaged or whatever?
Well, it is also broken down into student groups, and that's about the only way. So it's broken down in our
Right.
ethnic groups as well as SPED. And if we look across, those were a lot of our aha moments, looking across each campus to see where we were low at and in which student groups. So we are analyzing that now, and we'll be working with principals actually in focus meetings. I don't know that there's a real clear path. Some of those things are just not easy to do. You just have to look at each one of those numbers and work with each one separately.
Right. Well, each number's an individual, so, you know.
That's correct.
And some count with us twice, so.
Right.
Anyway, I just wanted to kind of tell you about that. Thank you.
83 pages right there, something like that. All right.
Reader's Digest version, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Holt. Okay, next item is our COVID-19 update.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Biscay?
We've had a lot of questions about vaccines and who's going to get the vaccine and how our numbers are doing, and if Nurse Bousquet had another job, would she take it immediately? This lady is so, you thought she was thin before? This is one hard-working lady. The contact tracing you do is just endless.
It is. It's very time consuming, but we're making it, and still schools do not seem to be huge vectors of spread, so.
He can't hear you, so either speak closer to the microphone or take off your shield and
I was
don't
just
worry about
saying
John.
that our schools do not seem to be large areas of spread right now. So that still seems to be the case, even though case numbers are on the rise right now at a pretty alarming rate, really. But it's not at school that they're getting it. So all these hardworking teachers and support staff people and administrators and board, all your hard work is really, really paying off as far as that goes. So education is moving forward, and that's what we need right now. The vaccine is slowly but surely becoming available. Phase 1A was, of course, our healthcare workers, our hospital workers, nurses, doctors, all that kind of good stuff. We're now in Phase 1B, which is individuals that are 75 and over. And the state of Texas kind of took it upon themselves to do their own thing and not necessarily go by what the CDC recommended as far as the hierarchy of who would get the vaccine first. So they have opted to put essential workers, which would be teachers, into 1C. So they'll be in the next phase. Just so you know, I had 3 different entities reach out to me over the Christmas break: the emergency management coordinator from the county, the one from the city, and then also Derek Lehue from HEB, all reached out to me wanting a list of the names of my nurses so they can make sure that if they wanted the vaccine, it was available to them. So also, Thomas Griffith, who is our city emergency management coordinator, he is just bound and determined to get our WISD employees taken care of. So as he gets vaccine in, as it becomes available, we have kind of created our own little hierarchy or priority list of employees that will get the vaccine. We want, of course, to do the high-risk employees first. Secondly, we're going to do, and by high risk, I mean 65 and over and those 16 or 18 and over with a medical condition. And then secondly, we want to do our support services. We feel like our custodians, our bus drivers, people like that who are really in the trenches, up close and personal with, you know, everything that's out there, they're going to be in the second group, and then teachers in the third group. So hopefully all that will happen almost simultaneously once the vaccine becomes available. We're kind of waiting on these other 3 vaccines. There's 3 pharmaceutical companies that are in their last phase of trials. And it sounds like once those come out, it'll open it up to everyone. So do you guys have any questions about vaccines? Or I did reach out to the pharmacist at HEB and asked him if he could come to campuses to do the vaccine like we do the flu vaccine. He said off-site clinics are not possible right now because of the storage issues with the vaccine. So that might change once these last 3 vaccines become available. Their storage isn't quite as, doesn't require quite as low temperatures. So we had 148 positive cases reported between December 18th and January 7th in our district. So that's a lot of COVID.
Were the majority of those students or staff?
We had 53 staff, 95 students.
So, Ms. Biscay, could you give me the dates again?
Those cases fell between. Basically, it would have been December 18th.
The day we got out.
The day we got out, and then January 7th, the last Friday.
Is that an indication that they were probably contracted during the Thanksgiving holiday?
The ones at the beginning, perhaps, but, spread from those that got it from Thanksgiving, spreading it to others is most likely what it was. And then everybody got back together at Christmas. So I would expect in the next, 2 or 3 weeks, we could see a real uptick in numbers. Maybe not. Maybe I'll be wrong. I just messed up your screen. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I do that all the time. It's a very sensitive board.
But, we'll just have to wait and see. But any other questions? We good?
Anything else, Ms. Bouquet?
Again, thank you for all your hard work.
Well, thank you for your support. And I just get so much encouragement everywhere I go. So everybody is really just pitching in and just giving us everything we need to get everything done. So, but thank you.
Thank you. Okay, board, next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. I think this is probably the shortest consent agenda I've ever seen. We have items A, B, and C. They seem to be pretty self-explanatory. We could take them all in motion, if you so choose.
I move to approve consent agenda items A, B, and C.
Motion by Mr. Starnader.
Second.
Second by Mr. Rogers. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Okay, moving to our action items. Our first action item is consideration action to nominate by resolution a candidate to fill the vacancy of the Ellis County Appraisal District Board of Directors. I know a meeting or two we had discussed a couple of individuals. I did reach out to 2 individuals. I will be honest with you, one of them wasn't until today because I just flat forgot. And that was Floyd Bates. He declined due to possible time constraints. However, wants to be considered possible in the future. I did speak to former Mayor Kevin Strength, and he indicated that he would be willing to serve if elected to that position. So if
The wording is.
yeah, if the board is fine with Kevin Strength, I can consider a motion by resolution to nominate Kevin Strength to fill the vacancy for the Ellis County Appraisal District Board of Directors. Motion by Mr. Schofield, second by Ms. Timmerman. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Okay, last action item will be consideration of potential action to authorize an extension of time for employees to utilize the Family First Coronavirus Response Act protected sick leave until the end of the 2020-2021 school year.
Mr. President, the federal government gave us until December 31st to have essentially, not purely this, but it was sort of, you get 2 extra weeks of being off because of COVID, because they recognized that if you had COVID, you might not have the days. And so the government said, under certain circumstances, which were pretty loose, you can have these 2 weeks, but that's it. They would only cover 2 weeks through December 31st. Well, December 31st is over, and of course, we have a lot of teachers with concerns. Oh, and you can only use it once in the fall. So we thought about, and we talked with the other school districts, that we would just like to ask the board to extend that with the same rules that we had before. If you used it in the fall, then you'll have to use your own leave in the spring. If you use it early in the spring, but you need it again, you just get to use it once. So what we've basically done is duplicate what the government did the first semester, and my recommendation is we just extend that with those same rules for the rest of the year.
Dr. Kane, I do have one question. I believe Nurse Biscaglia said there were 53 that were sick with COVID during the holiday. Of course, those are not paid days, so I'm assuming that if they were, say they were quarantining during the holiday, or they had it, but if they had a second incident, those days don't, I mean, those,
Right,
they
that
would
was-
be eligible still for the 2 weeks.
Right, if they didn't take any time, yeah,
Yes.
yes, it's time off. They
Yes.
didn't really care. If you happen to be sick over the Christmas holidays, you don't have to use any days off.
Okay, that's what, I mean, it was a
Now,
little
if you had to use
confusing.
2 days, because they don't have to be consecutive, they get to use those 2 days and they have 8 days left.
Well, but
I mean, let's say they couldn't but come back Monday and Tuesday.
right, I understand. It's just that during the holiday, there were some that filled out the form, and it took their days, I mean, their COVID days, but they really didn't take any official time off
We should have
during the holiday.
Right.
So they still have 10 days.
Yes, they're not charged if they don't work it. If
Yes.
it's not part of their calendar and it's not their work day, they will not be charged those days.
They were not charged, even
Right.
though it was a little confusing the way it was read, because I had it read to me.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I just wanted to be sure that they still were eligible.
We were probably asking to keep up with the numbers, and they assumed we were also asking to use their days, but
Right.
we kind of have one set of papers. But yes, and if they didn't, if some kind of clerical error occurred, they need to let us know.
Yeah, I totally understand. I just wanted to clarify that, because the
That
way
is
it
correct.
read, they had used their 10 COVID days during the time when actually, teachers are only paid for their 187, so it's like, didn't make a lot of sense.
Well, we still need to do the contact tracing.
Yes.
And determine whether or not their time to come back, and that's why we had them
Right,
continue
I
to report.
understand.
Okay.
And I really appreciate us making this motion. It's wonderful.
Any other questions? Okay, at this time, I will entertain a motion to authorize an extension of time for employees to utilize the Family First Coronavirus Response Act protected sick leave until the end of the 2020-2021 school year. Motion by Ms. Kriegel, second by Ms. Timmerman. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. And our last item would be I need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Schofield, second by Ms. Timmerman. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much.